Day 4. I can't believe it's day 4. Stayed at Kenosha Campground. Camped with the same crew, Aiden, Sydney, and 2 new people, Mark and Brian. So today I'm planning at least getting to Georgia Pass. That's 12 miles, maybe a little bit further. We'll see. I'm gonna carry on, get some miles in, get some elevation in, get some views today.
I knew this segment of the trail was a long one. 32.3 miles to travel until segment 7 in Breckenridge. I was ahead of schedule, bypassing my plan to camp another night in segment 5. If I continued at this pace, I might be finishing my trek a day early. I wasn't sure how I felt about that, wanting to spend the time in the wilderness, immersing myself in nature.
There's definitely something to say about community and the trail. I mean, this group came into my campsite on my 3rd night, and I was planning on being alone, and I'm glad they showed up. I'm not really a social person or anything, but it was great to have just some people in common to share stories and that kind of thing. Maybe that's just been my experience throughout the years of people and acceptance or lack of acceptance. At that camp, the camp host had a whole selection of just stuff like chairs to borrow for the night, water in jugs, and a hiker box that people could leave stuff or take stuff. So I think it's even just larger than all the people. It's people like camp hosts that give more back to the people coming through on the trail. Community.
Bidding happy trails to Aiden, Sid, and Brian, I strapped my pack onto my back and headed towards the gate at the campground which led to the trail. I felt I may not see them again on the trail. They were going to be staying at a hostel in Breck, and I was passing through to my next camp. It was a pleasure to have met them on the trail, share stories, and capture their perspectives for adventure, motivation, and life plans. Just a small part of this world meant to inspire others to dream and to see their dreams become reality. Happy trails, indeed. The trail felt different today. It felt different each day, but today was one of those rises from a plateau. I was living one of my dreams, living proof of the words of others. I was here to live a dream, and it was different to hear others' motivation, reasoning, and confidence to live their dream.
This place reminds me of Michigan in the fall, and that was always my favorite time in Michigan. The air was crisp and cool. It was still humid, but it was cool, which was a relief for me after the hot summer months.
Today, I would be heading above the tree line through Georgia Pass to experience the joy of my feet guiding me into the alpine along a well-worn path in the earth. I was looking forward to this segment and the wonder of Georgia Pass. First, though, the trail took me from the Kenosha Pass campground along the backside of the ridgeline with more incredible views of Jefferson and the high plains surrounded by mountain ranges. Before long, those views faded, giving way to forested trails, providing me with cover from the looming sky above.
Sign of change, 10,000 plus feet. The aspens are starting to change their colors to yellow and getting some nice leaves on the ground to show me the way.
I made my way to Jefferson Lake, where I planned to have my lunch by the beaver ponds and rest for the remaining day hike.
I'm just about to cross Jefferson Lake Road, and I was just here like 2 weekends ago. Well, I stopped at Beaver Ponds in Jefferson Lake area, and I'm gonna have my lunch here and rest for a little bit. I've been going for 4 hours or so now. Got my lunch going on over there, and then just kind of chill here for a little while, not too long, enough to eat and just recover my shoulders a little bit. My body is accepting of what I'm putting it through.
After my stop for lunch, I took in the stillness of the ponds, reflecting the trees on the shoreline almost perfectly, with a slight distortion from the haze in the water. It made me think, is anything a perfect reflection? I wasn't a perfect reflection of the others on the trail. We were all doing something similar, but not the same. Our steps were different, our gear, reasoning, pace. We were accomplishing the same thing in our own way. I continued on my trek, the trail leading me over a footbridge. My feet were carrying me step by step forward, my mind pondering the moments over the past 2 days. The river reflected my journey over the bridge, a moment in time, suspended over the water.
I finished my lunch. It was a nice picnic down by the Beaver Dam ponds. Beautiful view, just absolutely serene. I'm planning on going 5 miles. I've got like a liter and a half of water, but I gotta climb about 1,500 feet. So I'm going to leave it at a liter and a half just to keep my pack a little bit more manageable. And then up towards the top, there's signs or markings on the map of water. So I'm planning on filling up there, and then I'll get to the top at Georgia Pass and see how I feel, if I'm gonna stay there tonight or head on through for a couple more miles.
I was lost in these thoughts until I broke out of the tree line. I love the absolute rugged beauty of the high alpine, the raw exposure, views forever, the majestic mountainscapes witnessed through my eyes. The exposure, though, was real this time, with a thunderstorm chasing me along the trail towards the pass.
It is breathtaking through here. This is real backcountry. I feel very, very far back. I'm only like 3 miles away, 4 miles away, 2 hours maybe at the most. I'm really impressed with what my training has done to allow me to carry this 44-pound pack. It's probably about 40 pounds now, but just to carry that all the way up here this far. And it's so worth it to know that I've gone through up here just to see views like this. Well, along my way to Georgia Pass, we'll see how long I'm going to stay up there as the storms are building. Although they aren't close, really. I mean, I can hear them, but they don't seem to be really gaining on me. Got my water. I'm up over 11,000 feet, and I'm glad I didn't climb with 3 liters because I put that pack on and you can feel 3 liters of water.
I watched the clouds roll through the scene, a haze slowly building between me and the peaks surrounding the pass.
I've crossed the tree line. I'm at like 11,600 feet and approaching Georgia Pass. This is like my favorite place above the tree line, even though it's cold and harsh and windy. It's just so serene and open, and you can see all these peaks just everywhere. It's mind-blowing. It seems like the storms are blowing off behind me. I mean, there's definitely a good amount of storm back there popping up, but it seems to be hanging back there. The thunder's staying back that way, and the wind is in my face.
As I reached the pass, the wondrous views before me were threatened by the clouds rolling over the ridge behind me. I felt a familiar wetness permeating my gear. Not rain this time, but mist blowing through the air, entering through any opening in my jacket. I left the ridge, heading to the forest for cover and hopefully some warmth from the trees shielding me from the rain.
What's crazy for me to think is I could see inside of that bowl just like an hour ago. And I walked from over there and then just came over here. And now I'm on the other side of this. And looking forward, I just see this range just wide open up. Just all these ridge lines as far as the eye can see. Rain pattering down, clouds misting through the peaks of these ridges. It's just absolutely incredible. Way out here in the middle of nowhere, on top of this part of the world. Oh yeah, there's water in there. Well, I guess I can't forget the camera.
I traveled through the wet forest, the earthy, loamy smell tingling my nose. Rivers of rain flowed down the trail. Wet roots threatened to trip me. I feared if I lost my balance, I may find a large rock to break my fall, becoming one with the forest forever. About an hour later, I arrived at the riverbank. There were campsites right at the river, although the ground was still wet from the afternoon showers. As the trail food I prepared for the trip soaked in the mountain water I scooped from the river, I thought about my day's challenges. I took a bite of my food, feeling its nourishment flowing through me. It was an amazing ending for a day of traveling in the mountains. Her incredible passes, lush forests, the sky upending on me challenged my will for this adventure.
Day 4. Made it from Kenosha Pass to the North Fork of the Swan River. Actually 16.6 miles in from Kenosha Pass. So it's still 16 miles to Breckenridge. So pretty much out here. 16.6 miles. I have never hiked that far in one day ever in my life. That is a long way. I was just cruising. Once I climbed to the top, I got a recharge of energy from being up above tree line and just having the view, being chased by a thunderstorm and all those clouds rolling in, and then seeing them stop, the clouds stop. Like that was pretty epic. I wasn't at camp at Georgia Pass, but I was way in the open, and there's a lot of storms that were coming through, and you just don't want to be up there when it's weather like that. Someday I will camp at the top of a pass somewhere. I'm tired, but I still could have gone longer. I mean, I contemplated going another 2 miles to this 18-mile place where there was some camping, but it would have been getting close to 8 o'clock. And I just want to be out. It was getting slippery, it was wet, and I just didn't want to get out. But pretty amazing day, amazing weather. Being above tree line, finally. I really want to be above tree line. I can't wait. Breckenridge is the next one, and then one more range to get into Leadville. And I think I'm going to finish on Saturday. I'm here. I'm doing it. I have a lot of inspiration, so many photos. Anyway, that's it for tonight. See you all in the morning.